Peace, family, and welcome to another episode of Underground Railroad Radio. This is your host, Brother Rich, and I'm back, joined with the living legend, Professor Griff. Welcome back to the show, brother.
Oh, greetings, Brother Rich, and it's a pleasure to be back, man. It's a pleasure to be back, man.
Indeed, indeed. I'm sure by this time everybody's anticipating hearing Professor Griff talk about Muhammad Ali. The brother recently passed away at the age of 74. He made a transition to the ancestral realm. So I know everybody want to hear your kind words on the brother and, just what you think about the whole situation. It's just funny. I mean, since, I'm planning this show with you for the last couple of days, because I know we're going to talk about Muhammad Ali. And after that, Ken Norton, the boxer Ken Norton, passes away.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the UFC fighter Kimbo Slice passes away. So it's been like a busy year this year as far as black celebrities and notable people out there in the public just making the transition. It's been it's been a real busy year so far, 2016. So let's start the show, y'all. Brother Rich, Professor Griff here. I guess to start it out with, real simple, Professor Griff, what did Muhammad Ali mean to you?
Muhammad Ali, he meant on 3-4 different levels. He meant various things, not in various situations, but in various points, not only in his life that I thoroughly understood only later on when I had knowledge of the complexities of this man's life. Before, younger, seeing Muhammad Ali, I was just a fan, probably like everybody else. You understand what I'm saying? But later on in life, I had to, get some understanding of some things in order to understand where Muhammad Ali was coming from. I understood Cassius Clay. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. When I say that, I'm saying I understood Cassius Clay simply because, growing up in high school, there was some shit talkers, man. You understand? That was good at what they do. I didn't know any in the boxing world, but I definitely knew some in the basketball world. Simply because when Chuck D used to announce those games at Roosevelt Park, man, thinking he was some kind of commentator, and he was good at what he did, but he was a different kind of shit talk on the side of the court announcing the games because maybe he wanted to be a sports announcer. But there were some cats on the court talking cash shit, but backing it up. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So I understood that aspect of Cassius Clay. I understood aspects of when he kind of accepted the name Muhammad Ali, and he joined the Nation of Islam, and I understood that because I was there. You understand what I'm saying? Later on, having to look back, I understood where he was coming from in a lot of things that he was saying. I understood the competitiveness when he was Cassius Clay and when he was Muhammad Ali as far as sports is concerned. And anyone that plays sports, would readily accept that. Like, okay, you kind of do different things to kind of get yourself geared up and mentally and spiritually ready for what you're about to do. And those wasn't no easy opponents. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Those in a world where you coming out of a situation where you having to deal with racism in America, he had to endure a lot coming from where he came from. Shit, you go to Louisville, Kentucky now. It's like, okay, I can see why he went all out in order to come up out of this situation. You understand what I'm saying? So the Cassius Clay shit talker to Muhammad Ali, the greatest of all time, I understood different aspects of his life. I understood his relationship with Malcolm. I understood his relationship with Rahman. I understood why he had to beat those early opponents in order to establish yourself. You understand what I'm saying? So he meant to me the big brother that I could look up to and say, okay, yo, as far as sports is concerned, I want to do that. I've won a few champions myself in martial arts. You understand what I'm saying? I've won a few grand champions in Kumite, in sparring. You understand what I'm saying? I won a few championships in form and doing katas. So I understand what that's like, but you do it for a bigger and better reason and purpose, Brother Rich. I did it to stay in shape, yes, but I also did it for the discipline. And Muhammad Ali said himself, he didn't like to train. Mm. You understand what I'm saying? But if you watch how he trained, if you watch how he trained, he really put it down in such a way where he made you go train. It's like, okay, he made you want to go train, and that's a beautiful thing, coming from a man who openly admit that, you know, he really didn't like training. You understand what I'm saying? He said, I hated every minute of training, but I said, don't quit. Suffer now and live the rest of your life, you know, as a champion. That's Muhammad Ali, and that's what he meant to me.
Now does
wait. Hold on, Brother Rich. I forgot to say one thing. As a Muslim, you understand what I'm saying? Looking at Muhammad Ali's life and saying what he said and taking that defiant stand, the very defiant stand, it let me know that this is a man that's committed to not only being a Muslim, the Nation of Islam, but he's committed to the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. It made me a better Muslim.
Now, I'm glad you ended it like that. That transitions perfectly into the next question. A lot of people talk about the brilliance of Muhammad Ali. A lot of people talk about the brilliance of Malcolm X. How much credit does the Nation of Islam get when it comes to who Muhammad Ali became? I mean, we all know the story of Malcolm and what they did for Malcolm, but we don't hear, I mean, with all this talk and we hear about all these people praising him, even Donald Trump praising him, but you don't hear a lot of people praising the Nation of Islam for instilling values in Muhammad Ali. So how much credit and praise do you think we should give the Nation of Islam for what we know today at the man as Muhammad Ali?
I think we have to give the Nation of Islam its just due. We have to give the Nation of Islam the credit of what they did in the past and what they still do in the present, and that is making men. The Nation of Islam made me a man. The Nation of Islam made Malcolm a man. Although we want to separate Malcolm from what he went through in the nation, there's a lot of men, Brother Rich. There's a lot of men on the streets right now of New York that came through the FOI class, came through the Nation of Islam and got that discipline. And we have to admit, you know, and those men will admit, it made them better men. We have to give credit where credit is due, brother. We may not agree with everything the Nation of Islam espoused. We may not agree with everything that the minister is taking the Nation of Islam through, but we don't have his task. We don't have his the work that's on his shoulders to lead a nation. You understand what I'm saying? But you do have to admit, once you even get the word and that sparks your intellect and your curiosity, you understand what I'm saying? Let me tell you something, man. Going through that FOI class and bonding with brothers, and going through the training, going through the self-defense training and learning and knowing how to eat to live and being in the ranks with other men that's like-minded like you, it's something that every man should experience, Brother Rich. You understand what I'm saying? It definitely made me the man I am. I roared, man, out of Temple number 7. Right. And ended up hooking up with Chuck and the rest of the brothers and putting Public Enemy together. So, you know what I'm saying? It was Islam that helped establish hip-hop for what it's known for today. That era that we went through when the gods in the earth was putting it down, you understand what I'm saying? Right. We can name a list of 5%ers, starting with Rakim. You understand what I'm saying? That put it down, starting with Rakim Shabazz, Queen Latifah, Big Daddy Kane. I could go on and on. And it was Islam. It was the 5% nation of gods and earth. And it was a brand Nubian. You understand what I'm saying? Busta Rhymes. So we have to look at that and give credit to where credit is due. That came from Master Fard Muhammad, who the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and then gave birth to the numerous number of ministers that set America ablaze, man. Nobody wanted to debate a Muslim. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, I see the debates going on now, man, but nobody wanted to debate no Muslim. You understand what I'm saying? Because it wasn't branch knowledge that the brothers was dealing with. It was root knowledge. A lot of people be out there on the branches talking about maybe this happened and I think that happened. Is like, no, you debate a Muslim. Let me tell you something. Malcolm went to Oxford and debated. Malcolm handcuffed him. You're talking about a man that was a petty thief, a criminal, a pimp, and a few other things. Sat in prison. You understand what I'm saying? Roared out of prison with the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and set this world ablaze. Well, that's the same thing Muhammad Ali did in the sports world. And that's very real. He would have been a regular old Cassius Clay, regular old boxer. You know, you understand what I'm saying? But when he became Muhammad Ali, and the things that he was doing outside of the ring, that's one of the things I was the chapter that I'm on in my book as I finished my book, Brother Rich. I was talking about how we subconsciously call the boxing ring the ring, but it's square. You understand what I'm saying? Right. And it's a deep science behind that I put in my book, Symbology. But back to what I was saying. The Nation of Islam and the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad put that extra oomph in Cassius Clay and made him Muhammad Ali to the point where he went to Africa and they embraced him. They embraced him like he was the next coming, man, of Jesus or somebody. You understand what I'm saying? Right. We're talking about a sports player, bro. There's sports players that go abroad every day, all day. They don't get that kind of welcome. You understand? It was the fact that he stood up for the black man and woman in America and around the world. It was the fact that he was teaching the teachings, espousing the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad in the face of this power structure, and not only that, in the face and in the industry that just looked at that black sports players as like, okay, well, so what? Because even from that day to this day, Brother Rich, they still looking for the great white hope in boxing.
Yeah. Still got a statue of Rocky up that he never existed.
Exactly. So they have to put the fake boxer up. You understand what I'm saying? Because the real one don't exist. You can't do nothing with the black man once he gets knowledge yourself. Plain and simple. Plain and simple, man. Because you remember when Muhammad Ali said he said if you even dream of beating me, you better wake up and apologize.
Yeah, that's something.
Man, bro. Seriously.
Now, you know, a lot of people feel, Professor Griff, that, and I mean, if you just study, if you're a student of history, you can see that America has this thing where they whitewash black heroes. A lot. It's 2016. I don't know the exact year Martin Luther King passed away, but it's 2016. A lot of people didn't know about that speech that he gave about integrating into a house that was on fire until probably 2 years ago, probably until the age of social media and Facebook. So people were like, man, where the hell was this speech at? But it's been there all the time. But you're not going to hear about certain things about black leaders from white media, whether it's Martin Luther King, whether it's Malcolm X. So, some people feel as though it's the same thing with Jesus. It's the same thing. Some people feel as though, man, Jesus was black, he existed, and they turned him white. So, and I mean, if you believe in that whole narrative of Jesus. But people feel as though the same thing is going to happen with Muhammad Ali. So many people are praising him since he passed away, and nobody is mentioning how much he meant or how much he spoke about race and issues in America. They're using this term. I hear people saying that they keep using the term Ali transcended race, and people feel as though that's inappropriate because they don't use that term when they're talking about their white heroes. But somehow they always got to use that term with blacks as though we're always preoccupied with race or something like that. So what do you think about this whole idea of America continuously whitewashing our black heroes?
Well, Brother Rich, I think they're in a position, if we keep the idea of the chess game in mind, they're in a position where they have to keep white pure, white large, white and everything, white on top, and everything else becomes the subordinate. So everything that's important in history, in the present, and in the future, they have to make it right. It's imperative that they make Jesus right. It's imperative. You can go down the long list of prophets. It's imperative that they make Moses white, and he's played by Charleston Heston, and he's parting the Red Sea, and all this other kind of stuff. It's imperative that these Captain America and Superman and Batman and all the resurgence of the Marvel comics, because they're living in a fantasy world simply because they know and understand that once a black man gets knowledge himself with the melanin activated and we in our right minds, it's over. It's over. But you see, they have to do this, but now they have to do it in a virtual fantasy world, because in real life, them compared to us, it's almost like 20 of them to one of us. You understand what I'm saying? They have to whitewash history. They have to, and it was revealed in a book called The Lies That My Teacher Told Me. It was revealed in Dr. Suzanne's work, Blacked Out Through Whitewash. And she laid it out. She laid out the fact that this whole idea of history that existed way before white people was on the planet. Now white people have to go back and rewrite the Bible, rewrite history. And since they're in control of everything we see, touch, taste, smell, and hear, they're in a position to do that. So now, when you take actual history and then you go back and having to whitewash it to make it seem like you were there, no, you weren't there 10,000 years ago. You were nowhere to be seen. You weren't there 20,000 years ago. You weren't there 50,000 years ago. God knows you weren't there 100,000 years ago, when we did some of the things that you could even, you dream about, you still can't figure out to this day, but they can now, Brother Rich, through this virtual world and through controlling media, controlling education, controlling the politics, and rewriting history and rewriting the books and placing themselves in it. You understand what I'm saying? So even when you ask basic, simple questions, like, wait a minute, how could Jesus have been white? If you believe that narrative, how could Jesus be white in these quote-unquote biblical lands? And then he had friends like Matthew and Mark and Luke and John and a few other people. Those are English-sounding names. Those people and those kind of names didn't even exist in those particular areas. You understand what I'm saying? In most cases, when you really study, those languages were the Semitic languages. So we have to understand this particular dynamic of white people coming in, having to whitewash history, not because of you and I, Brother Rich, because we're smart enough to unravel it, but how about our children's children, Brother Rich? Will our children's children listen to this interview? Will my granddaughter's daughter listen to this interview and say, well, wait a minute, hold up. So you need to tell me that Beyonce wasn't white? Beyonce is black? Yeah. Damn, I didn't know that. You mean James Brown and Don Cornelius were black? Oh, wow. I really didn't know. You mean to tell me hip-hop wasn't started by some white homosexual dude? Oh, I didn't know that. So some black guys in the park created this thing called hip-hop? Wow, I didn't know that. You understand what I'm saying? If we let history, the way they tell it, go on. This is why I love when Dr. Clark and John Henry Clark and Dr. Ben used to debate these scholars. This is why Ivan Van Sertima and Charles Finch are so important. This is why Professor Smalls and Dr. Leonard Jeffries is so important. Simply because we have to be able to tell our story, and our story has to be told to us, by us, and it has to be factual. And we have to get it in the head and hearts of young people that's coming up. Everyone needs to know our story and the way we need to tell it. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what has to happen. That's why it's so imperative, man. It's so imperative that we support all the events that go on that our brothers and sisters that's doing the critical research, man, the critical research that will sustain the truth that we tell, not only in film and in books, however we tell it. You understand what I'm saying? I'm participating in this thing called the Power Talk 3 in Washington, D.C., Friday, June 17th and Saturday, June 18th. That lineup is critical, man. Professor Griff, Booker T. Coleman, Jim Klingman, Reverend Willie Wilson, Dr. Julius Garvey, Dr. Ava Muhammad, Malefi K. Asante, Baba Dick Gregory, Anthony Browder, Patricia Newton, Dr. Leonard Jeffries, and Dr. Claude Anderson, and yours truly, Professor Griff. And let me tell you something, man. I think I'm the youngest one out of the bunch. You understand what I'm saying? And the only one dealing with hip hop. I'm among royalty, but these are the brothers. These are some of the brothers and sisters that are on the front line, keeping this thing alive for us and our people, Brother Rich. They have to whitewash history. I'm talking about they have to whitewash the music. Their children's children have to look back on this day and be the best dancers, Brother Rich. Be the best mathematicians. Be the best scientists. And this is what they did back in the day when they were stealing black people's inventions. You know, daggone well, when they came into Africa and sat at the feet of our ancestors and learned what they learned, they went back and then they came back with their armies, Brother Rich, and stole and plundered and raped and robbed and destroyed everything and put their names on it. So they have to whitewash it. So Imhotep has to be white now. Ptah has to be white. You understand what I'm saying? And if you look at, you remember the posters that they used to put out, the Budweiser Superfest, and they came with the kings and queens of Africa?
Right.
You know, them brothers and sisters, man, was darker than all get out. You understand what I'm saying? You know, triple shade of darkness. Them brothers were so dark, man, it was ridiculous. But when you see the posters, lighten them up. Because they can't handle all that melanin, man. They can't handle that, Brother Rich. So they have to whiten it up simply because they have to be able to exist in a world that they're at war against. I'm going to say that again in English because I know some people say, what did he just say? They have to exist in a world that everything that's in existence is fighting against them. And they are at war with everything. At war with the sun. They want to conquer the moon, planets. They want to rearrange stars. They at war with the earth, the air. They at war with the goddamn mosquitoes, the whales, every damn thing. They've been at war with themselves ever since they've been on the planet. And I think they're fixated on this whole idea of conquering and destroying the black man and woman. Some people might be saying when they listen to this, like, damn, Griff, you think you might be going a little bit too far? We talk about Muhammad Ali. Oh, yeah, I know what the hell I'm talking about. I know exactly what I'm saying. If you can dispute this, then write your little comments. You're going to write it anyway. Shit, you understand what I'm saying? They're at war with everything, Brother Rich. So to look at Muhammad Ali and say he stood a chance in or outside of the ring, no, I applaud Muhammad Ali for the stance that he's taken. Some people may say, well, why can't he just box? He was a good boxer. Why don't he just box and be quiet? No, Muhammad Ali was a poet. You understand what I'm saying? Muhammad Ali had more sense than we give him credit for. So, but then they had to hit him with the draft thing. They had to lock him up. They had to see whether or not they were going to test his quote-unquote faith. And he passed that test because he stood his ground. That's a lesson in it for us all, Brother Rich. So they have to whitewash it, man.
Yeah, I just, I had to ask you that. I'm just reading all the posts and articles and hearing this word transcending. Even one tweet I seen from Chris Myers, this white guy that's on TV. He says when you saw Ali, you didn't see color, you didn't see religion, you saw a gentleman who was a strong fighter. And to myself, I'm saying, well, Ali was a symbol of black pride. So how do you not see color when you see Ali? So just the blatant erasure of just black pride is just astounding to me. It's like, wow, you're just gonna erase all of that and just label him a champion, but he can't be a champion and be proud of being black at the same time. So it's just amazing to me the logic that mainstream America uses. I want to
But let me speak to that real quick.
Yeah.
The whole idea of transcending race Why would you even want to conceive of the thought, Brother Rich, of transcending the race that you are? Everyone has pride of their culture. Everyone has pride in their culture and who they are as a people. What is it that we just went through this, man, with Kendrick Lamar and Beyonce? Why is it that we can't have pride in I'm serious. We just went through that. Why is it that we can't take pride in being who we are and uplifting who we are? What is wrong with that? You understand what I'm saying? But so does Muhammad Ali, because you're right. At that particular time, among all the brothers and sisters that are in all the sports, he was probably one of the main ones that showed and proved that, I'm a black man and I'm proud to be a black man. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with being proud to be a black man. But to think he was so vocal, Brother Rich, and every fight, he was hoping that somebody knock Muhammad Ali out. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Muhammad Ali said he float like a butterfly, he sing like a bee. You couldn't even hit the brother because he said you can't even see me. I've seen one clip where Muhammad Ali was standing in the corner, probably tired, but he was in the corner, man, just ducking and dodging blows like it was nothing, man.
Yeah,
because he made it look so easy. but then he would knock somebody out and then talk shit at the end of the damn thing when they interviewed him. And I thought that white people just didn't like that. So the whole idea of transcending this whole idea of being proud of who you are. And you asked a very critical question. Why don't they ever put that on white people? How come the stock car racing guy can't transcend his race? Shit, we only talk about cars. How come the white tennis player chick, she can't transcend her race? They've used sports. They've used politics, education. They've used all these different platforms, all right, to talk about and bring up the whole idea of race. But when black people do it in the areas that we're in, it's a problem. Gabby Douglas didn't have to do that, but they talked about that young sister so bad. You understand what I'm saying? She was forced to do it. When they have to transcend race, Brother Rich, and really be who they are, we get the Bruce Jenners. What's her name? What is her name? I'm sorry. What's the she terms the chick? I forget. I'm glad I can't remember either because that's the moderator. But when they transcend race, that's who they become. When they transcend race, Brother Rich, we see exactly who these people really are. Why is it that we have to even deal in a society where the race is always on our mind, simply because, as Dr. Francis Chris Russell said, we're in a society and their system is racism, supremacy, plain and simple. We have to deal with it. And the areas of people activity, Muhammad Ali was in one of them, entertainment. Labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war for the ultimate purpose of white genetic survival. He was in the entertainment. He was in sports. He was a boxer. Is there racism in boxing? You goddamn right. You and I can sit right now and go over the history of boxing. Is there racism? Yeah. Come on, man. There was racism there. But we have to transcend it. We can't talk about it. We can't be black. We just have to be a boxer. Okay, right. I got you.
Well, a lot of times the reaction to people like yourself or myself or others who call out racism in society, whether it be police brutality or job discrimination, and I got a lot of white listeners that listen to this show, that listen to you, that specifically want to listen to Professor Griff, specifically. So, specifically, somebody told me not to say Pacific, so specifically. But, the term, the argument, not all white people are bad will come up. That's what, our listeners would say. Well, not all white people are bad, Professor Griff. So I was watching an interview with Muhammad Ali. I forget the white guy he was speaking to. I apologize. I didn't write his name. But let me just say what Ali said. Ali said, the Viet Cong ain't all bad, but America's still dropping bombs. In Hiroshima, all of Japan wasn't bad, but they still dropped the bomb. So now I'm going to forget the 400 years of lynching, killing, raping, and depriving my people of freedom, justice, and equality, and I'm going to look at 2 or 3 white people trying to do right and don't see the other million trying to kill me. I'm not that big of a fool. So this is what he told the white guy he was talking to. So with that being said, Professor Griff, they tell us continuously that, not just the individuals, but in general, that not all white people are bad, but collectively, the culture, if there's a terrorist attack tomorrow, nobody's going to have a problem bombing an entire country because they're like, we can't let this happen again. So with that being said, Professor Griff, why do you think America does not practice what it seems to preach to everybody else?
I think simply because America, her pathology, her denial is her pathology. Her pathology is her denial, pardon me. The whole idea of denying the fact that there's a problem in America is the problem in and of itself, Brother Rich. The whole idea of not all white people ain't bad. Wow, that's critical. It's almost like sticking your hand in a barrel full of snakes and trying to find a good one while your ass is getting bit. I say to all the white people that are listening to this, if you're not one of the ones that's bad, why don't you stand up and speak out for the ills and the things that your people are doing to black people on a daily and consistent basis. At the same time, if you were one of the ones that will wear the T-shirt written on the front, not all white people are bad, well, shit, all young black or young people are not bad. But you criminalize all of us. You have to stop and frisk New York City. Were they stopping white people and frisking them? No. So not all young black kids are bad. Plain and simple. I hear the saying all the time, well, not all cops are bad. Well, shit, we can't wait around while we're getting shot to figure out who's the good ones or the bad ones. Why don't the good ones speak up about the bad ones? You understand what I'm saying? So this is very real dynamic. This whole idea, Brother Rich, of having to have a conversation like this at this critical moment in history, it almost brings you, to tears, personally speaking. I'm sitting right now in front of my computer and I'm looking at this. These people are scalping Muhammad Ali tickets.
Wow.
It's like it's 15,000 seats in this particular arena, right? Some people got tickets, some people don't. I don't know why Bill Clinton is doing the eulogy. I don't know why Billy Crystal and the rest of these people are so involved, and you can't invite Minister Farrakhan or Rahman or any of the brothers that that Muhammad Ali kind of came up with and struggled with, and some of these other. I can't get it to save my life, but maybe it wasn't meant for me to get. Maybe I need to look at the fact that Muhammad Ali licensed his name out for $50 million, Brother Rich, to a white Jewish company. You understand what I'm saying? And now they control, yet again, Brother Rich, here we go. They control the Don Community Foundation, the Michael Jackson Foundation. You understand what I'm saying? And all the brothers and sisters, they got their hands in Prince's situation, controlling that money. And sure enough, they're going to go into this whole narrative about how the family are going to argue over the millions and millions of dollars that Muhammad Ali left behind and divided between the 9 children. We're going to hear that whole narrative. Yet 80% of what Muhammad Ali owns in reference to the licensing of his name, all right, they own. The family still owns 20%. It says CKX licensing activities to date have not been so publicly charged. Last year it acquired 19 Entertainment, the company formed by a pop impresario, Simon Fuller, who brought the Spice Girls to prominence and created S Club 7. 19 Entertainment recently entered into the marketing arrangement with David and Victoria Beckham, which would CKS said created an ideal opportunity, Brother Rich. I need you to listen real close, people. Created an ideal opportunity to share in a new, valuable content and relationships. Now, we're talking about the spoils, man. We're talking about them carving this man's interest up, using his name to sell a fucking box of goddamn Wheaties or to sell some cereal or to... Come on, man. We're talking about he's entered into the ancestral realm, passing on at the age 74. He meant so much to us that it filled the chest of young boxers coming up wanting to be like Muhammad Ali because they wanted to be the greatest. Muhammad Ali was great to us simply because Muhammad Ali didn't be quiet about what was going on to black people in America. But yet, the white Jewish company now is spreading the wealth among all the other white people that's controlling 80% of Muhammad Ali's estate. Come on, man. Come on. I feel sorry for the 8 daughters and the 1 son. For real. But they're scalping tickets for the rich? You mean to tell me, you see, we would never do that in reference to their dead. You understand what I'm saying? You don't scalp, no. That's not the way you honor a man and send a man off back home to the ancestral realm and then back to his creator. You don't scalp the man's tickets like that. Shame on them. Shame for you to be out there scalping Muhammad Ali tickets is a spit in the face to all of us, especially in the boxing world. And someone should speak up and speak out about it. You understand what I'm saying? We're all the people that benefited from what Muhammad Ali did outside of the ring. This is what we need to be discussing. And Mr. Sellerman said that Ali's family made a conscious decision to keep a pretty low profile. Only 2 companies are permitted to use Ali's image. Adidas, you know who that is, you understand, which markets Muhammad Ali's classic trainers, and a computer game company or firm called Electronic Arts, which sells simulations of Muhammad Ali's boxing. And this is very, very real, Brother Rich. He said the retired heavyweight originally known as Cassius Clay will receive $50 million from a New York City firm, CKX, in return for 80% stake in a licensing company. GOAD, greatest of all time, GOAT. You know what I'm saying? And this is critical, man. I respect his wife. I respect his children. And I respect his last wife, Ronnie Ali, who retained control of the remaining 20% because she wanted to look out for the children. You understand what I'm saying? Mm. And this is very real, man, simply because, they control Richard Pryor. They control the Dark Cornelius Foundation. And Michael Jackson, as I said a few minutes ago, we have to be able to look at our greats, and when we send them off, Brother Rich, we have to be able to remain and retain the greatness and what they really meant to us, man. You understand what I'm saying? I'm going to remember Muhammad Ali as a great boxer, but I'm going to remember Muhammad Ali as a Muslim, and I'm going to remember Muhammad Ali as an outspoken person, plain and simple, man, that fought for the freedom, justice, and liberation for black people in America.
Professor Griff, when you think of some of our most successful black leaders, they were charismatic. When you think of Malcolm, when you think of Khalid, Abdul Muhammad, when you think of Ali, when you think of Farrakhan, these brothers were extremely charismatic, had a magnetic energy. They teach a lot of things in school. You can read, you can learn about history, you can study the timeline of history, you can memorize things, you could quote things that Dr. John Henry Clark said and our ancestors said. But it appears that there's nothing in school that teaches you how to be charismatic. So why is it this quality that our leaders seem to have? It seems to be one of the things that you have to be born with almost. Why is this quality, you think, so important when it comes to influencing people all over the world? A quality that you can't learn in school, a quality that it seems that you have to be born with. It seems as though it's one of the secret ingredients to influencing people all over the world. Why do you think this is, with this, just to be charismatic, Professor Griff?
I think, Brother Rich, simply because we come from a long line of brothers and sisters that operated with that vibration and that spirit that the griots put in us. We're very charismatic people, regardless of what we're doing. The only time we become non-charismatic is when we have to be educated by them, and we have to be among them. We have to be able to adapt and adjust the frequency and the vibration of who we are and our spirit in order to get along with them. A lot of times we have to play the afro down. We got to play the kinky hair down. We got to kind of play down the vibration in which we resonate, not only with what's naturally going on the planet, but when we see our other friends, we have to play it down. We have to watch the tone. We have to watch the dress. We have to kind of not be who we really are in order to fit in this world to get by, Brother Rich. You understand what I'm saying? That whole idea of being charismatic just comes with naturally being who we are if we are allowed to be who we are, Brother Rich. If you would leave black people alone and just let us be our natural selves, oh man, I think you will see something that will come from us, Brother Rich, that you've never seen on the planet. But because we have to operate in this system called racism, white supremacy, you're seeing us do some things that we shock ourselves. I know I get shocked every time I go on the computer and go on YouTube. It's like, huh? Even with Facebook now, people be putting some stuff there. I got to scratch my head. I'm like, God damn, she did that? You understand what I'm saying? Or damn, that brother did that? And then, especially when it comes to what they're doing to their children and mutilating their bodies, and I'm like, wow, we're definitely operating outside of who we really are. You see, then again, Brother Rich, it's the self and the not self. We have to be charismatic in order to reach our people. The preacher has to be charismatic, Brother Rich.
Right.
In order to get the word over. The gang leader had to be charismatic. You understand? If we were left alone at the schools and be effective like Amos Wilson, we have to be charismatic in the intellectual way. There's nothing wrong with being intellectual. Them days of you calling the intellectual brothers squares and punks, those days are over. Especially, it was over a long time ago for me coming up, because, to be educated and to be knowledgeable and have knowledge of yourself, that was the fly thing. That's what the sisters look for. You understand what I'm saying? Nowadays, it's almost like the dumber you are, the more attractive you are. But the whole idea now of being charismatic, oh, come on, man. Let me tell you something, man. You remember when Digital Underground came out?
Yeah.
Charismatic. Remember George Clinton came out, Parliament Funkadelic? Charismatic. Earth, Wind, and Fire, dealing with the elements, charismatic. You understand what I'm saying? There's a couple of artists I could mention, be like, who? Oh, they named that song? No, probably wasn't charismatic. You understand what I'm saying? It was in them, but they was operating at a low vibratory frequency where we didn't even know they was in the room, man. You understand what I'm saying? But some of us can be silently charismatic. Look at the different teaching styles that you see among those brothers and sisters that are on the front line. Even the people on your show. I'm a lot different from Phil Valentine. But nonetheless, he's still charismatic in his own intellectual, spiritual kind of way. You understand what I'm saying? Look at some of the other brothers and sisters you've interviewed. We have our own different way and our own methodology and our own teaching style and speaking style. But nonetheless, we're charismatic because we know and understand, Brother Rich, the gifts that's deposited in us. Not only that, we keep our finger on the pulse of our people, and we know how we have to say what we have to say in order to reach our people on a soul level.
A lot of people, I've heard people say in the past, and also recently, that they feel as though Muhammad Ali was poisoned. That's how he came down with the Parkinson's disease. What do you think about that idea that Ali was poisoned to shut his mouth up?
I heard that before, and I said to myself, I'm not going to put anything past this devil, man. Muhammad Ali said, I believe in the religion of Islam. I believe in Allah and peace. And he was a shit talker. And on top of that, he was kicking ass and taking names. And he beat the best. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They try to give him a show. They try to pay him off. And it's like, come on, man. Come on. The best way to get rid of him is to poison him. I said, I'm not going to put it. I'm not going to put it past him. Slow him down to neutralize him. Can you imagine Muhammad Ali reaching his prominence, not only in the boxing world, in the ring, but outside of the ring, and affecting what goes on as far as politics and what is affecting what goes on with our global community? That's a degree of influence and power that I think white people couldn't tolerate. You understand what I'm saying? And let's just be real. Let's just be real, Brother Rich. They didn't put the most honorable Elijah Muhammad in jail because simply because he was espousing the white man as a devil. They put him in jail simply because they was fostering a war that they wanted to fight, and they had to get Muhammad Ali off the streets, right? Mm-hmm. Because he could galvanize the masses of our people. Why? Because Elijah Muhammad in his own right was charismatic, and he taught something that was never heard before. And the short brother from Sandersville, Georgia, electrified some ministers, some brothers that came up out of the streets and the prisons that put it in such a way and taught them teachings like nobody else taught them. And why would they have to lock these brothers down? Simply because they could electrify the masses of our people. This is why you had a COINTELPRO. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's why you have fiery brand speakers like and researchers and I could even say leaders like Stokely Carmichael, Kwame Ture. You understand what I'm saying? This is why Malcolm was fiery. Yusuf Shah, Jeremiah Shabazz. I could go on and on and on. You understand? And it was very, and even Huey and the brothers and sisters from the Panther Party. You understand what I'm saying? Even the brothers and sisters that we have now, we see on YouTube. The whole idea of them espousing the particular teachings that they're espousing, electrifying young people. So this is why the George Soroses have to come in with their money and pay people off and get this whole pacification system going on to soften the blow of what it would mean in America if black people united and there was an uprising in America. You understand what I'm saying? Of course, you get a lot of things going on the physical level, but there's some brothers putting it down on the intellectual level, Brother Rich. We have to admit that. This is why they have to I want to say appropriate, but that's not the word I want to use. This is why, I'm going to just tell you straight up and straight out, this is why they have to lock down the internet. It's called net neutrality. And all of us need to look this word up because they've been doing it for years now. They're going to lock the internet down. You're not going to be able to send emails and texts and do shows like this and post them up on YouTube. It's not coming, Brother Rich. It's already here. They understand they've created a monster with this internet, and now people are able to connect. Let me tell you something. They use the internet to start revolutions in the Middle East. You understand what I'm saying? This is how they were able to move on Egypt and move on Libya and move on other places, Yemen and other places around the globe, via the internet. Simply because now everyone's walking around with a computer in their pocket and able to communicate with one another at a moment's notice. Trust and believe, Brother Rich, when the shit hit the fan, the communication systems are being shut down. Uber controls of the vast majority of people moving around the country now. It's going to be shut down. Public transportation, shut down. Airlines, shut down. All right? ATM machines, shut down. We better know and understand what we're facing. And this is a real dynamic, man, that we're facing. We better wake up and understand it. That when the shit go down, you might be stuck where the hell you are right now and not able to leave your house, Brother Rich. You know why? Because what they're going to do is look at your driver's license. Your driver's license is going to become your papers. Remember back in Nazi Germany, they would run up on them and ask the Jews, where are your papers? Right. Well, they're going to run up on you and ask you what's your driver's license. And according to the address that you have on your driver's license, you're able to only go 1 mile in each direction, Brother Rich. They kick you out of that zone, they put a bullet in you, or detain you and put you in one of those camps. That's what's going to happen. I'm telling you, man. The handwriting is on the wall already. It's written on the wall. People think this implantable biomicrochip thing is a thing of the past. No, it's happening right now. I had a brother call me about an hour ago. I told him, you got a pen and piece of paper? Can you write this YouTube thing down? I said, no, I'm not writing out the whole goddamn YouTube URL. You know what goddamn, man. We live in 2016. Fucking phones and computers and cars park themselves and talk to you. What the fuck I look like writing my address down? Hell nah. You understand what I'm saying? Like, this is 2016, bro. I talk into my damn remote controller and it changes the channel. What the fuck? So we living. See, Siddiqui Bakari on the West Coast, he said it perfectly, man. He deals with this idea of transhumanism, and it's here. Robots are vastly becoming a part of our lives, man. You see them at the airport. You see them. You already witnessed them in computers and cell phones and all this other kind of stuff. In a minute, man, they got robot vibrators, all kind of shit. That's real. I'm just saying. I ain't never seen one, but I'm just saying.
Oh, man. Do you think, Professor Griff, when I think about brothers like Muhammad Ali and even Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and you might hear about their marital problems, you might hear about Dr. King cheating on his wife, or Ali being married, I believe it was 4 times. Do you think things like that takes away from a person's greatness or a person's history?
I don't think so, Brother Rich. I think this is the trials and tribulations and the life that we've lived, and I don't think one of us should stick our chest out far enough to judge another one of us. You understand what I'm saying? I think, and even in my case, I think I need to correct some of the lies that are out there. That not that I really care about what people believe or think about me. They're going to believe and think that way any old way. But I think just for the record, I need to go and correct some of the lies that are being told. And I think that's the thing that the family is most concerned with, just from my small little vantage point. How Muhammad Ali is remembered. Wouldn't you want your sister, your cousins, your daughters, and your sons to make sure that when their dad pass away, how people remember them, that lasting memory? So when you're talking about him lighting the torch at the Olympics, I remember that. It brought tears to my eyes, not because of the whole ceremony, but to see Muhammad Ali like that. You understand what I'm saying? I couldn't watch it. I want to remember the sharp, witty Muhammad Ali that looked white people right in the face and told them the truth about what was going on in America. That's what I want to remember. You understand what I'm saying? I went to Chuck's dad's wake rather, and it was hard for me to, I didn't want to remember him that way. I want to remember him laughing, kicking it, I spent some time with him prior to him passing away. Man, he gave me a ride home from where he lived, further down south in Georgia, to the whole way there. He's telling me stories, man, and we laughing and we joking. That's how I want to remember. That's how I want to remember him. You understand what I'm saying? I don't remember, to be honest with you, and I know, I don't want Chuck's family to be too angry at me, but I can't, or the people that, that's related to him, but I don't remember, there wasn't a time that I could remember that him and Chuck's mom was not together. So in my mind, when I was speaking and we was communicating, even when I speak to Chuck's mom, it's always like, Mr. and Mrs. Ridenhour. You understand what I'm saying? I hate to use Chuck's family as an example, but that's how I remember. So the whole idea of him moving on in his personal life, it still didn't take away from the greatness of the man. It still didn't take away from it. I just understand it as a part of life, Brother Rich. When you pass on, are they going to remember the girlfriend that you had in the 6th grade? Nah, I think not, bro.
Not at all.
Right, so no. Unless she was a phenomenal woman like Coretta Scott King, that regardless of what they said about her husband, her stay around game was on point. You understand what I'm saying? So no, unless she's a phenomenal woman like Betty Shabazz, unless she's a phenomenal woman, you understand what I'm saying? We have to be able to have our stay around game, our hang in there game, our support the black man like the black man should support the black woman. You have to be able to be in this simply because those weren't no average brothers, man. Brother Rich, you have to admit that, man. Dr. King wasn't no average brother.
Right.
You imagine you married to Dr. King, Dr. Martin Luther King, man. Come on, bro. You married to Malcolm X. You just can't be no average woman, man. You understand what I'm saying? And I think when we look at history, and we have to say to ourselves, okay, Malcolm X is who he is, But who was the woman that supported that had Malcolm X's back? You understand what I'm saying? That makes that person larger than life to me, man. That's why I love Winnie Mandela.
Indeed.
Love Winnie Mandela. After all that her husband went through, Winnie Mandela stood her ground, man, and Winnie Mandela is that sister for real. For real. So we have to look at it like that. So, Brother Rich, to answer your question directly, no. I don't think that we should look at those men's lives and what they did and what they've given us is tainted by the fact that they had a third wife or a fourth wife or fifth wife. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
No, but even women, great women. Should we look at them because they got married 2 or 3 times? No, not at all. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to put myself out there on the line by saying that there's some actresses. I admire their work, but because they had 2 or 3 boyfriends and some aspects of their life was played out on the screen or in public or on TMZ, no, I'm not. No, brother. I still think they're great actresses. They're great people in my eyes because we all go through trials and tribulations. That's why I say there's no big I and little you, Brother Rich. That's why I tell people, no, don't follow Griff. I don't want followers. No. I want with you and the other people that I cross paths with and we connect. I want to be able to educate people to the point where they become their own leaders. I don't know. I'm not nobody's leader. I know it's a double negative. I'm not anyone's leader. Let me say it right. I'm not anyone's leader. Griff leads Griff. Now, if I can inspire some people, educate some people, drop some jewels on some people via your platform, my platform, or anyone else's, that's a beautiful thing, Brother Rich. Beautiful. So when I pass on, how would you remember me, Brother Rich? Like, oh, okay. That's I hope people remember me in a positive light. All of us hope and pray and wish that, man, that we remembered in a positive light. I don't want to be my tombstone to say, here lies Professor Griff, young karate dude that whipped Flavor's ass and got thrown out of Public Enemy. I don't want nobody to remember me like that. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Because when I was a child, I spoke as a child. And now that I'm a grown-ass man, I put away childish things. And I'm going to handle things like a real grown-ass man. For real.
Well, you know...
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, brother.
I was going to say, when people see some of the moves I have to make, I just want people to sit back and say, well, he's making a grown-ass man move. You understand what I'm saying? That's it.
All right. I got 2 more questions, Professor Griff. Recently, after Muhammad Ali passed away, it was recently announced that Bill Clinton and Billy Crystal and Brian Gumbel would be some of the speakers at the eulogy. A lot of people are upset at the mention of Bill Clinton being a speaker at Muhammad Ali's funeral for the mere fact of what Ali stood for and the history of Bill Clinton. And some people feel as though, you know what, this is his family's decision. We can't say anything about it. It's the end of discussion. It's his family's decision. Do you feel as though the black community has this thing where we think we own these black heroes or these black stars or these black celebrities, and we should have input or say so into what happens? Or do you look at it as, we have a right to be concerned about Bill Clinton speaking at his funeral, even though his family might have given the approval for it?
Let me answer this question as transparent and honestly as I can, Brother Rich. Regardless of how you and I want to look at it, we, all of us, Brother Rich, feel that our voice should mean something to some of the people that's making that decision, Brother Rich. I would speak up and speak out, hopefully, in hopes that the family would hear what we have to say and make the proper decision, because it means so much to us. Why would we turn the legacy of our great brother, Muhammad Ali, over into the hands of the same enemy that wanted to destroy him? just because they want to name a dirty-ass street after them somewhere like they did Malcolm, like they did Martin. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If it was left up to them people, Muhammad Ali wouldn't even be here. To be the greatest of all time. You know, they're the ones that put him in prison. At the height of his career, they're the ones that wanted to draft him, and because they call him a draft dodger now. They call him all kinds of stuff. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And if you left it up to them, they would have strung him up. David Duke and the rest of them would have strung his ass up. Because he was just a regular old nigga to them that knew how to box. So I would hope my voice has some kind of influence over the decision that they would make. This is why we do what we do, Brother Rich. Right. Even when it comes to the matters and the matters that affect our lives. You and I may say, I don't listen to them motherfucking niggas on Facebook. They just be talking shit. I don't listen to them people on YouTube. But every now and then you go up there and don't you read some of the comments? Because you want to know what people are thinking. It's like, damn, I'm that dude? I've heard some stuff about me over the last 2 or 3 weeks. I'm like, God damn. Yo, it is mind-numbing. Listen, Brother Rich, seriously, you can play some of that shit off, but some of it makes you look at it like, huh? You understand what I'm saying? It's like, damn. So the people's voice. I'm saying all that to say this. The people's voice do matter. I want to shout out to the people in St. Louis. Their voice matters to me, Brother Rich. I'm holding to a word that I gave the audience a few weeks ago in St. Louis. I'm keeping my word because their voice and the people of St. Louis mean something to me. You understand what I'm saying? Now, the day I decided to break that word, I would hope I'd have to come and I'd have to apologize to the people. The people know, listen, I know we agreed on this, but there's some things I just have to say because now that you think I'm down, I'm not going to get kicked and punched while I'm down. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I would hope people would understand that. If I'm passed away, Brother Rich, I can't speak up for myself. Brother Rich got to speak up for me. Right? Mm-hmm. You got to say, well, wait a minute. I interviewed that man for almost 3 years now. Mm-hmm. At least 2.5 solid. No. I understand the aspect of Professor Griff. He's transparent. He's open. You understand? If I talk to him on the interview and outside of the interview, no, I can pretty much say, yeah, I think I should be one of the ones that says a few words at Professor Griff's funeral. Jason Orr would have to. Black Dot would have to. You understand what I'm saying? Some of the people that have been in my lives, not for a moment, you understand what I'm saying? But people that help me impact the people. The people that I've shared personal space with, the people that, like yourself, that we've educate people, and the people listen to these interviews right here, and they pull and they draw from this. They draw life from this, Brother Rich. I would say, and I'm saying it now, do me a favor if I pass away, give Brother Rich a few minutes, let him say what he needs to say about the life of Professor Griff. You understand what I'm saying? Right. You have to. Jahi Muhammad has to speak. All the brothers and the Muslims that I came up with in the nation, you got to give Chuck D a minute. Hell, you got to give Flavor a minute and say what he has to say. Because these are the people that, I shared that space with in my soul journey and in my journey. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Plain and simple, man. You got to give my 2 best friends make a minute to speak. Because when people ask me, like, well, you got female friends? Yes. I always mention Jazz and Jade. They know that. Their husbands know that. And everybody that know me know that those are my 2 best friends. Of course, Lanisha, Isabel, and a few other people, those are my people. Plain and simple. So they would have some say-so, Brother Rich. And who does Professor Griff's eulogy? Please, Brother Rich, don't let that happen to me. You understand? Don't let some white dude, and please, can you avoid them having the funeral at some damn church somewhere with this big ass cross with the white Jesus dude looking over me? Can you help me avoid that? Don't do that to me, man.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Could you just not do that? Just say, wait, hold on. Griff told me, in 2016 that no, he don't want that, and I'm sure my family members will listen because they know it, plain and simple. I do want to DJ at the funeral, Brother Rich. I'm just saying, could you? No, I'm only playing. But I want people to be happy. I want to have that funeral where, when you send me off back home to the Creator. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I want it to be a thing where people remember the positive aspects of. A lot of people right now just think I'm just like a miserable little old man, just kind of frustrated and mad at everybody. I'm not. I laugh hard, Brother Rich, every day. If you knew the amount of jokes I told every day, you'd be like, damn, dude, you the same dude I interview? Yeah, Brother Rich, I'm the same dude. But I got jokes. But anyway, we'll talk about that. What was your last question?
Last question, Professor Griff, and I asked Dr. Phil Valentine this when I just interviewed him a couple of days about Muhammad Ali, and that is, how do we raise more? If we truly believe Muhammad Ali was as great and the greatest, we need to produce more men that great, more women great. So how do we produce more Muhammad Ali's, Professor Griff?
Oh. I'm going to answer your question very directly. Brother Rich, we have to have integrity, man. We got to get knowledge of stuff, because the incubator is the condition of racism, white supremacy. It's going to produce a certain amount of people that's going to come out of that incubation period and time and condition, and they're going to roar anyway, Brother Rich. Listen, Brother Rich, even on the negative side. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's going to produce some people that we probably don't like, but their sole purpose is designed to get us back on the right path, and we have to understand that. But that incubation period is going to produce, or condition is going to produce some people that we may not like. But to produce the Muhammad Ali's, the condition was ripe. To produce the Malcolms, to produce the Farrakhan's, the condition was right. But if the conditions were right then, and we produce great men like that, what are conditions today, Brother Rich? And what would it produce? Mm-hmm. Look at your life. If you was in those circles that was going on and what was going on in New York, and you witnessed what Sonetta was doing and some of the other brothers were doing, and you decided to pick up the camera and start your network and your platform, you're doing the damn thing. It was a certain condition that caused you to be where you are today, right or wrong?
Right.
What is the condition today, Brother Rich, and what will it produce, and what will it cause? What kind of man will it produce? What kind of woman will it produce? You understand the condition that Serena Williams' dad was under, and that pressure that caused him to do the kind of training that he did with his two daughters to produce the great women that they are, Brother Rich? What condition was that? What condition were we under? Even the lighter side, even with Tiger Woods, although he don't want to be black, I'm just saying, it still produced that kind of man. Am I right or wrong?
Indeed.
With what's going on the globe today, what do you think it's going to produce, Brother Rich? What kind of man and what kind of woman, what kind of scientist is going to roar forward and come up out of the bowels of America or some of these other places on the globe and give us greatness? I feel it coming, man. Although I'm not really looking for a leader, but I feel someone that is going to come up out of the ranks and begin to move our people forward in a positive direction. And we just have to take our hats off and say, okay, that young brother got it. There's a young brother that a lot of people are talking about. I think you interviewed him. Young Pharaoh, is it?
Young Pharaoh, yeah.
Right. I hear this brother's name being mentioned in a lot of different circles. What is the condition that will produce a young Pharaoh? At the same time, what is the condition that produced Sarah Suit and Seti, as militant as that brother, or Irritated Genie? You understand what I'm saying? What is the condition that produced a group of brothers that got together called the Amen Ra Squad, that they needed to loke up and do the things that they're doing? The time is ripe, Brother Rich. And as you always know, as you know, and I always say, that when you're looking at an apple, the next stage after ripe is rotten. Right or wrong? We have to do things in its proper time, Brother Rich. Sometimes you see people come and they're out of sync with the time. Marcus Garvey did what Marcus Garvey did in his time. He was on time. Elijah Muhammad was on time. Nat Turner, Denmark Vesey, Gabriel Prosser, the Mau Mau. They were on time. Bookman, Toussaint L'Ouverture, they was on time, Brother Rich, and did exactly what they were supposed to do. Hell, Ida B. Wells carrying that big-ass 45, she was on time. Harriet Tubman carrying that big-ass shotgun, you understand? She was on time. Plain and simple. Steve Coakley was right on time, Brother Rich. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Dick Gregory coming up out of that comedic world, Richard Pryor, they was right on time because they not only helped us shape our whole idea of consciousness with that light humor, you understand what I'm saying? But nonetheless, they came at a time when they were supposed to come. When I first heard Richard Pryor, I was talking about that nigga's crazy. I was naming his first album. But for me as a young man hearing that shit was right on time because it taught me some truth about white America. Dr. Francis Cress Rosen is on time, man. Plain and simple. And if I have to say and mention anybody else, the Anthony Browders and the Renoko Rashidis and the Ashwa Quasis, right, on time, man, because they came with something that baffled a lot of us. It's like, wait a minute, the African origin of Christianity, huh? That's where those symbols and signs and rituals come from? The African origin of Freemasonry, Egypt on the Potomac. You mean all these statues and all these monuments in Washington, D.C., they took that science from our people? Damn, that's on time, Brother Rich. But you see the condition that produced the Anthony Browder? There's a condition that produced a Nat Turner that he did what he did. So come on, man. Come on. There's a condition that produced a Kendrick Lamar. Would you agree?
No, definitely.
So there's some people that's going to stand out and jump out at us, which is a beautiful thing, but there's some subtleties and some people that, you know, that come real quiet. You understand what I'm saying? I think Ray Hagen came real quiet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But Ray Hagen was a portal. He was a portal for a lot of people that were still stuck in Christianity. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. Yeah.
He became that gateway, that doorway for people to come through into consciousness. You understand what I'm saying? And that's real. So we're dealing with a time where we can honestly say desperate times call for desperate measures, Brother Rich. Desperate times call for desperate measures.
Indeed. That was an excellent answer, brother. I definitely appreciate the answer. That about winds up the show, ladies and gentlemen. This time, of course, Professor Griff, let everybody know what you got coming up so they could get at you, brother.
Okay. Of course, the Power Talk 3, Friday, June 17th. I'm speaking. I'm the first speaker, as a matter of fact. Friday, June 17th in Washington, D.C. at Union Temple Baptist Church, 1225 West W Street, Southeast Washington, D.C. You can call 954-410-1791, 954-410-1791, the Power Talk 3, hosted by my good brother, Carl Melson. Shout out to the people over at Radio 1. I was up in the office and at the studios the other day, brother. Some good people, man, doing some real positive things in the environment that they're in, but they're still doing it. You understand what I'm saying? Shout out to Booker T. Coleman, Jim Clegman, Willie Wilson, Dr. Julius Garvey, my good sister, big sister, Dr. Ava Muhammad, Claude Anderson, Melissa Asante, Dick Gregory, Anthony Browder, Patricia Newton, and Lynn Jeffries, all of us in the building Friday and Saturday, June 17th and 18th, Union Baptist Church in Washington, D.C. I will be in the Shy, man. Okay. I will be in the Shy. It's a Serious Minds Productions and March 4 Productions present Musicology. Music, Money, Madness, Mayhem, Murder, and the Motherfucker. Keynote Professor Griff. Keynote Professor Griff. Sunday, June 12th, 2016, at the Victory Multiplex, 10441 South Racine Avenue, Chicago. Call 832-368-3863. That's 832-368-3863. Tickets on sale. Now there's vending space available, and I'll be in the building. Shout out to March 4th Productions that's putting this on. That's the Victory Multiplex. Professor Griff. That's Sunday, Brother Rich. And there's vending space available, and I think doors open up at 3:30, and the lecture begins at 4. And, of course, the Art of Rap Tour with Public Enemy and Mobb Deep and, man, a whole host of artists, old school artists, that's traveling around with Ice-T this summer, the Art of Rap Tour. Of course, we're coming to Brooklyn on the 21st, man, so Brooklyn and Buffalo, New York, man, so heads up for Public Enemy. Just go to www.publicenemy.com, Brother Rich. And as always, man, my phone number is 678-557-2919. 678-557-2919, Brother Rich. And, of course, Serious Minds TV and Serious Minds Radio will be back on the air in July. I'm just knocked out this book, Symbology. It's on sale now. People give me a call, or just go on my Facebook page. You can pre-order it, Symbology. I'm dealing with the psychological covert war on hip-hop, Part 2, Book 2, Brother Rich. And shout out to the family of Muhammad Ali. You'll always be a hero in my eyes for the work that he's done for raising the conscious level of our people, regardless of how people view our good brother Cassius Clay, and he left us as Muhammad Ali. He will always be a hero in my eyes, man. And shout out to you, Brother Rich, for doing the work that you do as always. Muhammad Ali said in closing, I'm so fast that when he said, when he turned the damn light out, and when he hit the light switch, before the light go out, he's already in the bed, man.
One of a kind, man. One
of a kind, man. Muhammad Ali. Rest in power, man.
Man, definitely. Listen, y'all. Rest in power, Muhammad Ali. This is Brother Rich, Professor Griff. Professor Griff, Underground Railroad Radio, Serious Minds Radio /TV. We signing out, family. We see you next week. Peace.
Peace.
Peace, family. This is Brother Rich from UGR, urging all my viewers and subscribers to help support the channel by donating just $1 to the UGR PayPal account. We appreciate the viewership and support, and we understand the power of $1. If you benefit in any way, shape, or form, we ask that you donate $1, whether it be monthly, bi-monthly, quarterly, or yearly, so that we can build our brand to compete with the NBCs, the MTVs, and the Foxes of the world. I figured since Kanye could ask Mark Zuckerberg for $1 billion, I could ask my subscribers to donate $1 so I could make the best possible content possible. The main objective of this channel is to inspire you to become the greatest version of yourself. So hopefully throughout the years of you watching this program, you have been inspired to become the greatest version of yourself. If you would like to donate, you could go to www.paypal.com and send a donation to richandmerit7@yahoo.com. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your program.